All right, and we are live.
And we are live. Woo! Do we just have like this meeting and then next week's meeting remaining?
No, we still have 2 weeks, I think, to go.
Okay.
It's just we
Okay.
have one issue left, but these last 2 or 3 weeks are going to be just designing the app.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. That'll be cool. That'll be cool to see.
For sure.
All right. So I am gonna be well, I guess not really walking us through everyone here, everyone else will be walking us through demos, but I will be, I don't know, like coordinating that. Let's start with Becky and Joseph. Can you guys walk us through this week's work?
Sorry, I was on mute. Sorry, Joseph sent me a recording, so I'll share my screen and then I can play that for you. Okay. All right. Let's move this.
Yes, hello, good evening, colleagues. I hope you had a wonderful week.
Can you all see and hear?
This week,
Perfect.
Becky and I worked on issue number 11. This issue required us to add a new feature, and the purpose of this feature is to enable somebody delete an item from the shopping list. So basically, when we go through the acceptance criteria for this issue, number one states that a user is able to delete an item from the shopping list. And number two, before deleting, prompt the user to confirm that they really want to delete the item to prevent accidental deletions. Number three, deletion should cause the associated record in the database to be deleted. So those are the three acceptance criteria we had to meet for issue number 11. When we go to the feature which we added, essentially on my left is the app without the feature which we added. You can see there are no buttons for deleting these items from the shopping list. Once you click that, even if you click it by mistake, you cannot reverse it. This way, we added these buttons alongside the item names, beside the item names, so that when you click it, you will see a prompt. If you click OK, you will delete this item from the shopping list. And you can also cancel if you pressed this button here by mistake. So let us check our database before we test out this feature. So essentially, you can see in the database we have these three items. We have car, TV, book. So when we go back here, we click delete. You see that prompt. We click OK. Delete that item from the database. And when we go back, you notice that we are left with these two items here, TV and book. What we deleted has been removed from the database. And when we go back to delete book, and once again we click OK here, we will notice here that it has also been deleted from the database. And click delete. Now if I want, I can also cancel if I don't want to delete this item from the database in case I pressed this by mistake. Let me also delete this. Press OK. Now you will notice that all these items have been removed from the database. You notice the items field is empty. What we have here is the token field, which is holding my token. the one which identifies our shopping list for us. So basically,
All right, so there's a separate video for the code. Oh, how do okay.
yes, so this is the code we wrote. Basically, this week we wrote our code inside the items list component. We started by adding this button element, which has the text delete. So we also added the on-click event handler, which is online. So essentially, this event handler calls this function delete item from shopping list. This function we are calling takes the name of the item we want to delete as argument. So when we go to the declaration of the delete item from shopping list function, here we are taking this one parameter. Immediately this function is invoked, we display, we invoke this confirm method, which is on the window object, to display the confirm prompt. We pass this message here to ask the user whether they really want to delete this item from the shopping list. If the user clicks OK, confirm returns true, but if the user clicks cancel, confirm returns false. So if the delete item, which is holding the return value of this method, is false, we return without doing anything, that means we don't delete the item. But if the user clicks OK, that means the value of this variable is true. We go ahead and locate the index of the item. And the list which is holding sorting items using the find index method. So when we get that index, we store it in this variable, the item index. So essentially, after locating this index, we use the select method to delete the item at this particular index. After deleting the item, we update a database. So that is the code we wrote to add this feature for deleting an item from the shopping list. Thank you.
Awesome. Very cool. Becky, do you have anything to add?
I don't think so. No, I think
Okay.
covered it. Yeah, but if anyone has questions.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about that code?
Yeah, I think it's a very clean implementation. The code is really, really like clean and well organized. And what do you think about model? Are you planning to implement like model for the confirmation? Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think we went with the confirmation dialogue. I think Golfo, did you mention last week about accessibility things surrounding modal? So yeah, it was one thing I wanted to pick up on this week, just in terms of I know you mentioned about being careful about accessibility with modals. What sorts of things we should think about, I suppose, because Julia did mention that, yeah, with the modals we can style them, and they're a bit more flexible than, yeah, using the confirmation.
I think screen readers can't detect models, something like that. I don't know much about accessibility either. I have to read the resources I posted.
Okay.
You know, but yeah, just don't create a model like that. Maybe it needs some extra labels or something like that to work.
Yeah, so I think you posted a link, did you, in the code review? I think, yeah. So we need to look into that as well. But yeah, I think it would be better as a modal, because then we can style it a bit more easily. It will look a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was a really good explanation, Joseph. Thank you for walking us through that. And if there aren't any further questions, we can move on to Chiamaka and Julia onto your demo.
Chiamaka, do you want to do it or should I?
Okay, let me go. Hello.
Hi.
You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, so this week we worked on sorting the list based on some criteria. Okay, so the first criteria we sorted the list with is according to, we are supposed to separate the list according to using the days left for next purchase, so that the ones that are already close for the user to buy will be at the top, and then the ones that are far off will be down. That's what this function, first function, is doing. Then the second function, we're also supposed to use the area label for accessibility. This is what we did with this function. Okay, and thirdly, we are supposed to change the background of, we are supposed to make each of the items physically different according to a range of days left till they are purchased. Okay, let me just demonstrate and then explain the code. Let me start all over. Okay, so the user comes to their app and then creates a new list. They don't have an item yet. Then they add an item that they want to buy, but they haven't bought yet, like mango. And then soon represents 1 to 7 days. Kind of soon is 7 to 30 days. Then not soon is above 30 days. Then we'll add item. So when the user adds the item initially without buying, because we categorized it as inactive because they don't have days left for next purchase yet. So there are two criteria that we use to know when an item is inactive. First, if they just added it and then they've not bought it before, it's inactive because they might end up not buying it, or the item might just be there, just lying around there, and they can choose to delete it too. Then the second criteria is when the days left for next purchase has been exceeded and the user didn't buy it, then the item becomes inactive. Probably they don't need it anymore. So when this user decides to buy this item, it changes color because I chose 7 days. Oh, keep us happy. Sorry, I want to locate the shopping list in the database. It's not scrolling down. How do I scroll down on MacBook? There is no, this system is so difficult to operate. Let me just use this one.
Can you try to, maybe like when you hover over, try to scroll down with your mouse?
Here.
Yes.
It's not doing it. Let me just use one that is already existing.
Why don't you just empty the list and then create a new one so that it makes things easier?
I didn't get it. Let me delete some so that one I added will come up.
Just
It's
delete
down.
everything.
Okay, is there a way to do it together? Okay, see, it's coming here. Okay, so see my shopping list here. I just added mango and it's 7 days left. Days left for next purchase is 7 days. The initial 7 days that the user chose, that's this 7 days, and the number of purchases is just one. So if I decide to alter the last purchase done so that the item will be marked as unchecked, let's just assume that it's been 24 hours since the user bought the item and the item is now unchecked. I'll go back, it's now unchecked. So, 7 days. It's not supposed to be.
You may have to take off a little bit more time from the timestamp, maybe.
From the last purchase done?
I would say so. Maybe a couple, yeah, like removing maybe 3 digits or 4 digits. Maybe even more, I'm not sure.
Okay, so no, this is wrong. Oh, sorry. No, something is wrong. It's not initially, like when the item has been purchased once, at least once, it's not supposed to still be gray.
I thought that the item
No.
was supposed to be gray when you first added.
Like orange is no longer 1. It's 2 now in the database. It's been purchased. Okay, so let me buy orange again and then remove to uncheck it and then go back. No, this is not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, so I think, Chamaka, days left until next purchase, that number is changing, and because of that, you are not getting the right dates. But and the reason is that maybe the last purchased on value is a random millisecond. So maybe you can use the converter I just sent you in the chat, and you can kind of input a real number so that it's
okay.
you know exactly what date it is.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to I'm supposed to, let me drop the entire item. Documents, no, item. Okay, so let me add an item again. Kind of soon. Okay, so it becomes inactive because we don't know whether the user will buy or just wanted to add it. And then we'll like take the item. Okay, let me buy the item initially for the first time so that it becomes active. And because I chose 14 days, it's no longer blue, it's no longer green, it's now orange. I'll show you the range of orange in the code. And then I'm going to take the item Like days left for next purchase is 14. I'll put days left for next purchase to be 3. My day changes to green. Then I'm going to take it back to 6 days. That's 3 times 3. Yes. Convert. Okay, it becomes inactive. So what I just did in our code, sorry, this is the code for that shows when the item is inactive. First of all, we are going to check if we are going to get the date of now, the present date, and then check when the days left for next purchase is. If it has been exceeded by 2 times the last purchased on, like see the code here, we are going to get the difference between now and when the item was last purchased. Let's say the item was purchased 3 days ago, and then let's say days left for next purchase is 3 days, and then the item was purchased 6 days ago. So when it got to 3 days, when it got to 3 days, like last 3 days, the user was supposed to buy the item, but they didn't buy the item, probably because they don't need it anymore. So we are saying if the days left for next purchase times when the user bought the item last is now more than times 2 of when the user was supposed to buy it. Like if the user bought it last 6 days and the days left for next purchase was 3 days, and 3 days times 2 is now 6 days, it means the user didn't buy it when it got to the 3 days they were supposed to buy it, and they still left it. So if it's that situation, then mark the item as inactive. That's what this first if is doing. And then if the days left for next purchase is less than or equal to 7, mark it as soon. They're about to buy it soon, and green. Then if the days left for next purchase is less than 30, then mark it as orange. Else, mark it as red. This else will now take care of 30 and above if the days exceeds 30. Then this function is taking care of the accessibility area label. I just did a function so that there will not be crowded. We'll see where we used it here. So it's supposed to describe to the user what it's supposed to describe to the user the state of that particular item. The state of that particular item. So here we are saying if the days left for next purchase is less than or equal to 7, tell the user that the item needs to be bought soon. If it's greater than 7 but less than 30, tell the user that the item needs to be purchased kind of soon. But if it's above 30, then tell the user that the item needs not to be bought soon. So these strings are going to be returned when this function call is called according to the what is it called, conditions that we gave it to, and then it's going to be what will be here for accessibility. And then the last function finally is sorting the item based on the days left for next purchase. So it's saying if it's comparing the days left for next purchase, the array, and it's saying that if days left for next purchase is greater than, if A dot days left for next purchase is greater than B dot days left for next purchase, that you should return 1. Else, this else means that if it's less, because we are using greater than here, then if it's less, then you're going to check whether days left for next purchase is equal to if the two, okay, so let me explain what A and B are. Like in an array, the A and B represents the first two items in an array. Like it will start with the first two items in an array and compare the two of them. If the first item is greater than the second item, you're telling me that if the first item is greater than the second item, then return 1. Else, return -1. See the else statement here. But in any case where the first item is equal to the second item, that's what this second one is doing. Then sort by name. That's what this one is doing. If the days left for next purchase is 7 and the following item is also 7, then sort by shopping list name. Like if it's orange and apple, then the apple should come first. Apple with days left for next purchase of 7 should come before orange with days left for next purchase is 7. So that's what this one is doing. Then if not, then return -1. That issue was a little bit twisted, but is there any question? I need to try as much as possible.
Really, just a comment. Really good job, Chiamaka. Even when things got a little bit confusing, you really stayed super composed and like figured your way out. And that's, I think, super important, especially to like if you're talking about code in an interview, in a technical interview. Really good job there.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good explanation. I was wondering about one thing, if you could go back to the code.
Okay.
So for the get item description, we could see like there are three scenarios. But how about the scenario when the item is inactive?
Okay, here.
Yeah. So do we have like a description for that as well?
No. No, we don't have. Wow, and we're supposed to have. Okay. We're going to update. We don't have, and it wasn't really in the AC. They didn't, for this particular area, they didn't specify that we should do an inactive array label. But it's really important since we have it for visual difference.
Yeah, you can edit like when you refactor it, maybe.
And I have a comment too. I'm not sure, when I tried it out, I saw that the inactive items didn't go to the bottom. I think it would look nicer, or maybe because I was entering random dates, maybe it didn't work for that, but I saw that the items got sorted by, need to buy soon, not need to buy soon, etc. But the inactive items stayed in the middle of the list.
Okay, the inactive also has days left for next purchase. So if the days left for next purchase does not change in the database, it's static. So if the days left for next purchase was 14, it's going to appear orange and it's going to be sorted around where days left for next purchase for 14 is in the list. But it's going to be marked as inactive, showing that it has exceeded and the user didn't buy it again.
Yep, as you say, I think it wasn't in the acceptance criteria, but I think it might look nicer if the inactive items went to the bottom. But that's just a personal observation.
Okay, so in that situation, what are we going to be sorting with now? Maybe we'll have to take out the whole inactive from the list first of all before sorting, or something like that.
Yeah, that's also a nice idea, that you take it out, or you just sort the active items if you have somewhere a variable that tells you, a function that tells you if an item is active or inactive, then sort only the active ones and just push the inactive ones to the
Okay.
bottom of the list. Or you can improve the sorting function to also take that in account. Yep,
Okay.
so both.
Yeah, I think so. This is one of the issues that has a lot of room for us to make decision as a team. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good to have this sort of discussion.
Yep, I totally agree. You can, yeah, it's absolutely like I would agree that the inactive item would be nice to be at the bottom, since it's not like important for the user at that stage. So yeah.
But then I already see one problem, because in the acceptance criteria, the sorting criteria is according to the estimated number of days left. So uh, the estimated number of days left could already be like less than 7, but still the item could be inactive. So then we would have like
Yes.
two conflicting sorting criterias, and then it would be hard to figure both of those out at the same time. Because I think so that's the same case what like Chiamaka just showed in the example.
Mm.
Um, like uh, the number of estimated days were less than 7. So in that way, the purchase was active. But sorry, the number of estimated days were 3, but the last purchase was 7. So it was already twice, but it was less than 7 days.
Yeah. So it means that when we are when after we fetch the data from the database, we'll first of all sort and separate the active ones from the inactive ones, separate the two items, the two lists different, and then before we render, then we'll render the active ones first, doing the different colors, and then the inactive ones, we'll render them after.
Hmm.
That might be one solution.
Hmm. So there is like a primary sorting criteria, and then there is the secondary sorting criteria.
Yep, and I think actually in this case, sorry, Chamako, do you want to answer it just?
No.
And there's also sorting by name, so I guess it's actually no. Yeah, it depends. It's 2 if you consider the inactive by days purchased, and you consider it that it has a lot of days since it needs to be purchased. Or you can have 3 criteria like days purchased, inactive, and by name.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think so. This is all of this. It's just like discussing like how this could be thought about. But yeah, maybe it's if everybody agrees on that, then maybe it's not something that needs to be done uh, as such.
Excuse me, I have a question for the mentors. Am I allowed to ask?
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm wondering, this thing is becoming quite complicated if you take the acceptance criteria into consideration. Are we allowed to ignore some of these acceptance criteria?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I didn't understand the question. Did somebody from the mentors understood?
I didn't quite catch it, but Joseph, if you want to put it in the chat, we can definitely answer it
Yeah.
from there.
But yeah, this ternary is something. These like nested. We also discussed this in the office hours. All these ones and minus ones.
Yeah, it's definitely it's like I didn't realize that ternaries could have like more. Well, it's at its foundation, it's between one and the other. But yeah, it's kind of like a whoa. you have to really be focused on like what's going on there. Okay, Joseph question came in.
Yeah, so Joseph, I think like we should all try to meet all the acceptance criteria, but if you as a group decide to ignore some of the functionality, or if you want to actually add more stuff to the app, you are totally more than welcome to do so.
Okay, so this particular one, I checked on GitHub, issue is already deleted, but how it was there, the inactive, Joseph, if you're asking about the inactive, this one, it wasn't part of the acceptance criteria. It was part of suggestions. Like Stacy did it first before the acceptance criteria. She was like, the states could be something like inactive, soon, kind of soon, and not soon. Is that what you're asking about? The inactive state?
Yes, that is what I was asking about.
Okay, then it's totally up to us to decide what the states will be. The acceptance criteria just said that the background styles should be different according to when the user, when the item is due to be bought again.
Yes, I think it's totally up to you to decide how you want to go about the inactive state.
All right, thank you. I think these other ones, we should probably move them over to refactoring time. Or do we still like make the changes and push?
Yeah, definitely. So now as you start working on the styling, you can also refactor the code and add more functionality even if you want to. And you can also create like user stories, like issues. If you are making any changes, you can do that for sure. Okay, let's move on to retros. I think we are kind of off with the time. So let's take maybe like 5 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes to fill up the board. And when you are done, you can write in chat and we can kind of jump in and start discussing. All right.
Hello. My network just shifted. I don't. Okay, are we in the time of retro?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing now? Okay.
Yeah. Let's fill out with the cards. And
I added mine to the GitHub one. Should I move them? Sorry, I've just realized. Should I to Mural?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me do that.
Sure.
All right.
Okay, maybe let's take another minute or so to finish up. Okay, are you all done or do you need more time?
I'm moving mine over, but you can start.
Yep, I can pull up GitHub as well if that's easier.
Oh, okay. If that's not too difficult.
Yeah, I can do it for sure. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Do you all see my screen?
Yep.
Great. Okay, let's start with appreciations and shoutouts. And first we have Salman.
Yes. So first things, for the team, like they have been initiating the discussion this last week about the estimates. So they have been proactive with starting the discussions and then making sure that they are clarifying it. And then appreciations and shout outs to Golfo and Luca for actively teaming up and jumping in and solving the issues that the teams were having. So that was good to see.
Awesome. Thanks, Mohammed. All right. So shout out to everyone for being so dedicated to this project and providing quality work. It was great to see, I think it was last week, that you created like 2 solutions for one issue and kind of you were like prepared to go like both directions, whatever the review would be. So thanks for doing that. And I also thanks for asking questions on Slack. This way we all kind of understand on what stage we are with the development and how the app is going to be shaped. Okay, and Golfo?
Okay, so thanks to everyone for staying resilient and present for the last 2 weeks. And another comment in general about all of the weeks until now. I like how everybody takes ownership and never blames anybody else for something that goes wrong. So that's very professional behavior. And I'll correct something. Luca, who takes care of, I'd like to give a special shout out to Luca, who takes care of our weekly syncs. Alex, who covered for him so quickly and efficiently. It was last week, I think. Yep, and of course, again, thanks to Luca, who, told us that he couldn't make it. And thanks to everybody who helped out each other. And no technical issue seems too hard when you know you have support. And thanks to the devs for yet another great office hours. It's so great discussing with you. So thank you.
Thank you, Golfo. Julia?
Yeah, thanks so much to Golfo and Luca for helping us out so fast with our issue we had this week. And even if I didn't join, I read it on Slack. And also special thanks to Joseph again, because he's always very detailed in our code reviews and making things clear that I thought I understand, I understood I didn't. But I always learn very much from the code review in general, from everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Chamaka?
Okay, I appreciate my teammates, Becky, Julia, Joseph, and Joseph for being the best thing one can ever ask for. They are kind, supportive, and always ready to help at all times. I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot from you guys. Thank you. And to our awesome mentors for being patient with us, helping us unblock and teaching us concepts we didn't know. And to Collab Lab for this nice life-changing opportunity. I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thanks, Chiamaka. Alex and Becky, maybe, yeah, Alex, you want to go?
Yeah. Also, yeah, I don't know if Joseph, you're able to access this website, but if you want to leave any feedback in the chat as well, that's totally fine. Or if you want to speak also on the as we go around. But yeah, actually, I'm gonna change this back to over to what went well. But yeah, just wanted to shout out just to everyone for like over the past weeks. I think we've all been here like pretty much. I mean, like everyone's been very communicative about like if they've had to miss something, but for the most part we've all been here, we've all showed up on time, and we're all able to really depend on each other, which is amazing. So that's really great. Yeah, that's it for shout outs for me. Oh yeah, also just really quick shout out to Luca too, for Luca, thank you so much for just managing this whole team. I feel like you're always on top of like letting the mentors know as well, like if things are coming up, like if they have an office hours the week coming up, or like what for me, like when I had my learning module presentation, you reminded me about it. And so I really appreciate your proactiveness with that. It's awesome.
Yeah, the same goes to you all. Thank you all for being here and being such a great human beings. So, yeah, Becky, I can pull up the. Okay. Did you add in somewhere here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So to my teammates, so Julia for being great at researching how we could implement our issue ahead of when we had our meeting, which really helped us get started and get things done quickly at the beginning of last week. And then to Joseph for a really good pair programming session this week. I learned a lot, and I think we did really well in terms of making sure that we were sort of collaborating and learning from each other. And as always, to all the mentors for all their help and support. Yeah, we really appreciate all the time and effort everyone puts in. And especially to Golfo and Mohammed for some great office hours sessions these last couple of weeks.
Thank you, Becky. Joseph, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, yes. Thank you, Luca. Okay, I want to thank my partner, Chiamaka, for last week's issue. I remember we had a great pair programming session. It was fun and exciting issue to work on last week. We were also able to complete the task and create a pull request on time. I'd like to thank my partner for this week, Becky. We had a wonderful pair programming session, and she paid attention to the details of the acceptance criteria and for also fixing the alert bug, which we have been carrying for all this time. I also want to thank Gulf and Muhammad for conducting office hours for last week and this week. To be honest, I was able to learn something about debugging and then model view controller design pattern during the office hours. And thank you to all the mentors and participants for the timely code reviews and the useful feedback they have been given. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Yeah, let's move on to what went well these past 2 weeks. Mohammed, you want to go first?
Yeah. So for us, like it's so heartening to listen what everybody has been saying, like in the appreciation and shout outs, and like how Collab Lab is like making an impact. So it's so good to hear. Uh, yeah, moving on to this, like what went well. So we have been like, I've noticed like our communication like inside the team has been improving since the program started. So now I think so we are in a very good place. We have been communicating uh, in a good way. It has improved. And then our timeline has also improved. Was it already like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that there was this item that we need to like move a bit faster during the week? So we could like have the code reviews at times, so the developers would have like enough time to merge the code to the main branch. And this week, it has been noticeable to me that the workflow, as far as time is concerned, it has improved. So the development and the code reviews and the PR were done in a very timely manner, and there was no hassle at the end. So yeah, that was I think so. Yeah, that was something that went well.
Awesome. Thank you, Mohammed. Yeah, I totally agree in terms of the timelines. It's great to kind of have this structure in mind that, okay, maybe by Wednesday we have the PRs up, and then we have code reviews on Fridays, and Saturdays are Saturdays also there for some refactoring after code reviews. Yeah, I would also add that PR descriptions are really, really well written. I also saw the testing, especially testing steps. I saw that you provided a ready token example to test the app faster. So yeah, thank you for that. And of course, code reviews are absolutely amazing. I love all the discussions and suggestions and the resources you provide there. I also learn a lot from there. And yeah, thank you. Next we have Julia.
Yeah. Yes, we merged on Saturday night. Great.
Yeah.
Both teams react very fast on their issue from the beginning of the week. So I think this time we had enough time to discuss our problems and to optimize the code so that we were able to merge it yesterday night. I was very happy about it.
Cool. Thank you. Chiamaka?
Okay, what went well? We implemented our features as required, and we were able to get help when we got confused. Thank you.
Cool, thanks. Golfo?
Yep, the workflow is a lot smoother compared to the beginning. So from this, I'd like to hear from the devs. What happened? What did you improve? Maybe not now, but in Slack. I would like to read, maybe you learned something, maybe you coordinate better now instead of the previous weeks, but I'm very curious. And there are, as the rest of you said, great descriptions in the pull requests and discussions between the team. So you discuss a lot before the mentor code review. And the mentors complete each other in various tasks. Of course, this didn't only happen in the past 2 weeks. It's like at any time a mentor is available. I don't know how we do this, but it's really great. And there's always somebody available to help.
Thank you, Golfo. Alex?
Yeah, definitely +1 on all the communication, just in all forms, the PRs, like the communication in Slack, mentors jumping in, Golfo and Luca jumping in to help, that's, I think it's so good. It's been going well for a long time and it just keeps getting better, and that's amazing. And then, again, yeah, another +1 to what's been said about like in terms of timing, and we're doing a good job of being transparent about when we're done reviewing, or when we have a pull request for someone to review, like passing the baton on to someone else, letting them know, hey team, we've just submitted this PR, can you review it? Then those reviewers, hey, mentors, we have this, can you review? It's really, really, really awesome. So I think that's going really well.
Thanks, Alex. Becky, I can switch to GitHub.
Yeah, again, similar points. Just the workflow during the week, being able to make our PRs in good time, so if there are any issues that we can have, the extra time to sort those out. And yeah, like Julia says, merging the PRs on Saturday is definitely great news.
Awesome. Joseph, you wanna go next?
Yes, thank you, Luca. What went well this week is that we were able to complete the task in time. In the first 2 days we were done, we were able to open a pull request. And then another thing which went well is that the code reviews were done timely, and we were able to work on the changes which were requested by the reviewers. And then finally, I think communication was great on Slack, just like everybody else said. Members were quick to respond to questions, and the responses were helpful all the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Julia, do you want to go next?
Yeah, like me?
Yeah. I see your card here, and that's why I was.
Yeah, but I already said it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, what could we do better for the coming sprint? Mohammed?
Yeah, like for this week's issue, like there was a lot of room for us to discuss and for us to find answers. So there is something I think so, like this could be improved in a way that before we start working on an issue which requires a lot of input from us, we could already have a discussion around it, and then it would be much easier for the developers to get started with it. Yep, thank you.
Yeah, I would also agree on that, and I think we have some suggestions during the code reviews, maybe suggestions about refactoring. So you actually can create issues like on GitHub, the similar way as we assign you to the issues. You can just create an issue, and this is going to be also a great practice for the job hunt and for the interviews, to kind of create those issues and yeah, and do the refactoring according to the issue you create. So yeah, just wanted to throw this idea. Julia?
Yeah, for this week, I would say that nothing kept us from making progress because of the reasons I mentioned in the what went well. And we did a great work as a team.
Awesome, thanks. Chiamaka?
Okay, what I think I'll need to improve on is spend a little more time understanding the issue and any problem at all before beginning to code, because that stage of understanding is really important.
Yep, I agree. It's also always great to kind of start with like planning how you want to approach the issue, and then start the actual implementation of it. Yeah, go for.
And just to interrupt there, I think it seems like that's something that's so applicable to wherever you are in where you are as a developer. Like even I think senior developers will probably find that helpful to just like, okay, I need to remember to just focus on what's going on, plan it out first, and then get to coding.
Yeah, and I could add also one thing. So it's not always necessary that you as like you have to think about something alone about a certain issue. So there could be like you could ask other team members to also join in, and like all the other team members have their opinion about like understanding the issue or discussing the issue.
Okay, thanks.
Go for. You wanna?
Yep, I agree with everybody else on the comments about better planning, and that's always great. Sometimes though, maybe something pops up that you couldn't plan or you couldn't understand without the extra knowledge that you gained while working on the issue. So better planning is always great, but don't beat yourself up if some issues come along and you didn't prevent them. And Jamaka, I love that second emoticon. Okay, so sorry. Yep. So maybe a few more test cases for more complicated issues, like the sorted list issue, which I think was maybe the most complicated issue of all, or one, at least one of them. So maybe if we had a bit more test cases from the beginning, it might help. And sorry, Luca, I am glad that you introduced us to Mural, but I think the GitHub board works better for this situation. Mural looks like a great tool. Or maybe it's because I'm using it on a 14-inch laptop. Maybe on a bigger screen, it's nice. It works great.
Yep, I agree. I think I prefer GitHub as well.
But it was a nice experience.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it was suggested by Andrew, and yeah, it's great that we give it a shot. But I think GitHub works better.
Probably this Mural works well if you have like some sort of like collaborative session, like everybody is like working on the same worksheet at the same time.
Okay.
But I think now we just spend a lot of time on picking out our sticky notes, resizing them, moving them, etc. And it wasn't so necessary. I move items by mistake when clicking.
Yeah, that's what happens to me right now. Okay, Joseph, you want to add anything?
No, I think we did great as a team. We did our best. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, did I miss anyone? I think, yeah.
Becky?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't add a card there, but I just wanted to say, yeah, I agree with some of the points in terms of like the product decisions and the refactoring. I think it'll be really great for us to start adding our own issues and just having that sort of oversight of what needs to be done outside of just the sort of acceptance criteria issues that we've had so far. So yeah, really looking forward to that in the coming weeks.
Cool. Alex, do you want to add anything?
No, I don't really have anything much to add. Just more of the same as what everyone said.
Awesome. All right. Yep. We can now, unless you want to add anything, we can move to the issue, like discussing the coming issue. And I will turn this over to Gofo, I think.
Okay, thank you. Yep, it's my turn.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. There we go.
Okay, so now that we've laid the foundation of the app, we've come to the really fun part, styling it and making it look professional. So the team will have to self-organize around a lightweight design process to come up with a polished look and feel for your app. This will require you to make decisions together as a whole team, then implement your vision. The process outlined here is our best suggestion for how to proceed, but you are free to take whatever approach you see fit. You'll notice this is the last issue on the board. That's because the expectation is for you to write the stories needed to complete the implementation of your design direction. And as always, lean on your mentors for guidance if you're unsure how to proceed. So by making this feel professional, it's not necessary to make something really fancy, but something that looks polished. I mean, for now, the app, sorry, did I stop sharing? Now the app works as intended, but it's very bare bones. For instance, you can do some basic styling like this. I'll post these in Slack later so you can look at them. Or here, it has some nice icons and colors, etc. And here, for instance, the soon, pretty soon, not soon buttons are styled, and each one is colored so it's easier to understand which is which. Of course, you always have to keep accessibility in mind. For accessibility, there are some guides, or we can look at it together if you want. Here Stacy has outlined the design process. First of all, what is the tone you're going for? What feeling are you trying to convey? Come up with 3 to 5 words that best capture how you want users to perceive your app. For instance, fun, clean, ironic, businesslike, etc. And there are more example words here. You can create a mood board. It helps everyone get on the same page in terms of the direction in which you want to take your design. And you can add elements to your mood board that represent the tone you're trying to achieve. And decide on fundamental elements of your design, including the following: typography. And Google Fonts is a really good choice. I believe you've all used it before. Colors, make sure these are accessible. For instance, you have to pay attention to the contrast between text and background, or images and background, to make sure it has a specific ratio. And use iconography and imagery. You can find a lot of free icons that you can use. There's a link here. And you can decide if you want to code your CSS from scratch or integrate a CSS framework. And there are pros and cons to each. Vanilla CSS gives you more control, but it can be harder or take more time to achieve a given effect. And frameworks help you get things done faster, but you don't have full control of the design. So, you can talk this out among you and decide which direction you want to go. Well, if you choose to use any frameworks, you have to evaluate your options to make sure you pick one that will suit your needs. For instance, quality of documentation, ease of integration, built with accessibility in mind, and activeness of the community. And there are a couple listed here. Bootstrap is a very popular one. Chakra UI, I've never heard of that one before. Material UI, I've used it. Material UI has a lot of guidelines too that helps you with the decisions you need to make. And Material UI is really useful for mobile apps. It works really good on mobile. Semantic UI and Tailwind CSS is a very popular one too. I'm not sure if the rest of the mentors or if anybody has used any of these and can recommend it. Now, as to how you can proceed, I mean, a couple of the ideas I have is that you can either plan everything up front and then just spend the next 2 weeks implementing it, or do some planning on the first week. I don't know, maybe the first week decide about how the layout of the app, and maybe on the second week decide on the typography and colors. I'm not sure which approach works better, or if any of the mentors have any other suggestions. But generally, these 2 weeks are your weeks to showcase your creativity and, yep, to showcase what you've learned all these weeks. Okay. Where's the? Here's the stop share button. Okay.
Okay.
Do you have any questions before we assign teams?
Yeah, I think yeah, Golfo has had great suggestions, and yeah, just creating issues is very fun. So play around it. It's really cool to kind of create your own like user story and follow those issues.
Exactly, and it's a nice time to showcase your strengths. So if somebody is good at design or somebody is good at I don't know, I think it's a good idea if you also want to refactor anything in the code, because I mean this piece will be a portfolio piece. So if you feel like anything in the code could be better, feel free to refactor it. Of course, test it thoroughly first, so you don't have a regression. Regression is if you break something that used to work. So proceed with caution. And yep, of course, the design process has already started. Julia posted a couple of Figma prototypes, so you already have something done. And I believe you'll do a great job. And I'd like it if along the way you documented your decisions. Like for instance, if you pick a framework, tell us why you decided to pick it. I'd like to know about that. Okay, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please write them on Slack, and yeah, we are here to help. So thank
Yay.
you.
Good work, everyone. We'll see you in Slack and next week. Happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
all.
See you.
Bye.